Hello! Welcome everyone to the webinar dedicated to the current state of the alternative tourism in 6 European countries. Now, I'd like to check the connection in the technical conditional. Please write me hello and the button number 5 in the chat section to let me know that we can hear and see each other well. Hello. Hello. Now, of these 6 European countries are the partners of the RAMSAT project. The partners are Art Altenative Intermunicipal Community from Portugal, Euroregion Prevent Out Association from Bulgaria, the Savia Regional Development Agency from Slovenia, Providential Government of Teruel from Spain, Rural Area Partnership in Derry from Northern Ireland, Regional Development Agency Center, and Rochini Municipality from Portugal. Now, from Romania, sorry. I give the floor now from Mrs. Elsa Nunes on behalf of the leader partner to welcome the participators and open the webinar. Dear Elsa, it's your turn.
Attending this webinar. Also, I would like to say a big thank you to the people that are organizing. We are living in a very peculiar situation, and so getting everything started is not that easy. It will be, of course, easier to be there and to be able to be with people, talk with people, and get to know the places. Nevertheless, I would like to start this webinar saying that everything has been done in order to overcome these difficulties. And so we believe that we will have 2 days of 2 working sessions, 2 very relevant days with several different experiences. On behalf of Comunidade Intermunicipal do Alto Alentejo, that I am honored to represent, we wish everyone attending 2 very fruitful days. And we would like to stretch out that in these times, sustainable issues related to sustainable tourism are even more important. Besides all the issues that are related to sustainable tourism, we are now addressing one other very important issue, which is safety. So tourists, visitants, besides being worried or concerned or just paying attention to sustainable aspects, are now very focused on safety. So it is also, I think, one of our goals to be able to respond as a group of people, as a project, to respond and to pay attention also to these issues. Of course, we may say that perhaps these were embedded originally in all the issues that we were dealing with, but now people are really focusing on this. This being said, I hope that all the presentations and all the participation will be really added value for everyone attending. And I really don't have at this moment much more to say besides, once again, thanking everyone for being here, for spending some of your hours in the day in this conference, and I hope that everything will run smoothly. As I was saying, on behalf of Comunidade Intermunicipal do Alto Alentejo, and as coordinator of this project, I am fully available for any questions, for any comments that can really add value to our days and to our project. Once again, a big thanks to the organizer that made this huge effort to have everyone online talking and to have us seeing each other properly. On my case, I'm talking in the camera of my colleague Sofia Martins, because we are here facing some technical difficulties, but nevertheless we are here and we are fully available not only on these 2 days, but always to be discussing all these very interesting issues about making our destinations even more sustainable and safe. Thank you, and all wish you a very nice day.
Thank you, Elsa. All partners must follow the path from the point A to point B, where we are now and where we want to go. Today, we will look at the current state of the alternative tourism in the partner regions. There will be 6 presentations, a study visit, and a roundtable on how and why to attract and engage the stakeholders. You can ask your questions about the presentation during their showings in 2 ways, in the chat section and the section on top right, questions. Your questions will be answered after the presentation from the speaking partner. The continuance of the webinar will be about 2.5 hours. The order of the presentation will be Portugal, Slovenia, Spain, Northern Ireland, Romania, and finally Bulgaria. Now, I want to start with the leader partner, and from Portugal, Alto Alentejo Intermunicipal Community, and Mrs. Sofia Martins. Hello, Sofia.
Hello. Hello, do you hear me well? Hello, how are you? Hello. So I will start the presentation. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I'm going to start the presentation regarding the state of the art from the lead partner. First of all, I will just give some figures about our region. The CIMA, the Intermunicipal Community of Alto Alentejo, it's, as the name says, is an intermunicipal community. It's formed by 15 municipalities. And in terms of our region, some figures about it. You can see on the map where we are located. The main objective of CIMA is to support the development of the region, and it's one of the main actions that CIMA have. The region that we are, it's Alto Alentejo region, in the inner side of the country. We are a level 3 net, and in terms of area, we have this number, 600 to 2,013 square kilometers. In terms of population, we have 118,000 inhabitants, and in terms of employment, this is the main figures of the region. The main objective of CIMA with RAMSAT project was to share some expertise and to learn what is have been done in other regions, and to share that experience in order to improve our regional policies, especially in our case. Our regional policy is a plan from CIMA, so it's very important to learn with the experience, and to, in the end of this project, to have an action plan that respond to the main objectives that we need to explore in terms of the sustainable tourism. It's very important for us, and in terms of potential, I'm going to present some specific case that we have. In here, some figures, some photos of Art Altenative, to show you how we are. So I invite you all to visit our region. And then in terms of the 4 main points of our project, and the main points of tourism that we debate on, and we are working on this project. The first one is ecotourism, and in terms of our region, ecotourism, we have some specific activities related to it, and such as bird watching, cycling, walking, mycological walks, and equestrian tourism. Additionally, we have the adventure tourism point, and in here we have also some activities that are already being explored, and others that need to be improved and have more experience to be development. So in this case, we have sports and nautical activities, mountain biking, ballooning, trails, rails, and internships. These internships must be oriented. Another point of our project, and in what regards the specific activities that are development in the region, we have the cultural tourism, and in here we have some specific activities, namely because of all the cultural and things that we have in our region, such as we have the religious tourism, the gastronomic, handicraft, parks, festivals, museums and classified heritage, the castles, and some specific routes that we have in our region. The last point that our project focus is the rural tourism, and in terms of our region, we have some specific activities related to it, such as the enoturism, agrotourism, again, the gastronomic and the endogenous products. The experience tourism is something that it's very important for us, because it's have the experience, specific experience when visitors came to our region, and the equestrian tourism. During this, we are in the second semester of our project, and one of the main objectives of these 2 semesters is to development a regional analysis related to the state of the art. In this regional analysis, we make a SWOT analysis of our region in what regards to tourism, and this was the main points that we are identify. It's the main, that it's some more, but this is the main points of it, and we can see that the region has some strengths that needs to be discussed and needs to be worked on. So we are a region with well-defined regulations. We have an identity and characteristic that is that needs to be showed to everybody, and we are a region with a lot of diversity. So due to that, we have some opportunities that we already identify, such as the implement of public policies to support the settlement of people with incentives to achieve certain results, the possibility of new ideas, the market that exists on the region, and the existence of a demand for experience that are singular, authenticals, and different. In terms of threats, I can point the main threat, that is the desertification of the interior. As you notice in the map, we are in the interior area of our country, and some problems with the desertification. The people are more in the coastline and the littoral side of our country. So it is something that we need to take in consideration. We need to have people in our region, so it's a threat, and that we must consider and try to overcome. Also, since we are talking about sustainable tourism, we talk about nature and climate change, and the effects on the natural resources is the main threat for our region. Our region is in the interior. The projections in terms of climate change are not good. The temperature is increasing, and some specific issues are. We already seen what something happened. So this is the main threat and the main concern about it. So we need to take this in consideration. Of course, in all the threats, we have new opportunities, and this is also a thing that we need to check in the development of this project. We're taking in consideration some threats to identify some new opportunities and how can we overcome. Some weakness of our regions, as I said, low population and the conditions for the growth of the number of people in the region is one of the weaknesses. The lack of investment compared to urban areas. This is a weakness and a thing that also we need to consider when we are talking about sustainable tourism, and we need to check this. The lack of communication networks in some areas. In some areas we have some problems with the connections, so we need to have some things to resolve it. Some old supply and precarious techniques used, and the lack of specialization and labor. This is our SWOT analysis, and this is the SWOT analysis of the state of the art and what is happening now in the region. With this project, we want to find solutions and to overcome the weakness and the threats, and to improve our strengths and the opportunities. In terms of the sustainable alternative tourism potential, now I'm going to make a brief presentation of the Alentejo Film Nature case. This case and this project we already submitted as a good practice in this project, and I'm going to give you some figures about this project, because we think that is an example of a good practice that we implemented and still ongoing on the region. This is the logo, Alentejo Film Nature, and Alentejo Film Nature developments around the valorization and promotion of nature tourism and the protection of it. It's development in protected areas, and these areas are integrated in Natura 2000 network. This project intends to support the valorization and increase the offer, namely in the context of some specific activities such as cycle, pedestrian, and spiritual paths, contributing to the international position of the region as a competitive destination for the practice of these specific activities that was already mentioned when in the slide that I show the activities that are development in terms of tourism in the region. This is the main objectives of this project, such as strengthening mobility, valuing the territory, leverage entrepreneurships, because this project has several partners in the development of it, aggregate communities, promote citizenship, consolidate the development network, and to regulate passage in environmental sensitive areas. This is also important to have some specific rules in what regards the protective and sensitive areas. The main, we can say that more than just a tourism project, this project, Alentejo Film Nature, has the potential to be a structuring vector for the development of Alto Alentejo region, because we aim to boost the region as an innovative international destination. And why innovative? Because we are conciliating all the nature, all the tourism, all the paths, the routes, and all the things that make that product, but also that we are now introducing the ICT to this project, such in order to make it more innovative and that people have a different experience. So in terms of structures, in this project, some permanent structures are being implemented, such as observatories, the signs for the routes, the stay areas, the interpretation and information panels. This is information that is already, it's a permanent structure, and this was implemented in several areas and routes. But as I said, we need to be further. And in this case, the development of the ICT, it's very important. So in this case, there are the development of digital pedestrian routes, a portal and an app is something that nowadays is very important, now more than ever. So the objective is that the visitors came to the routes, they can visit, they have the information, they know what is going on, they know the routes, and they don't need to have a guide, and it's more independent in terms of the tourists can be more independent in this to visit the routes and to visit the region. Another thing is the data collection for the analysis of tourism flows on the routes, such as sensors, the app, the site and the social networks. The main objective of this is to have to know how many people are visiting us, and the main routes that are visit, and so that we can know the type of tourists that we have in our region, and the main interest of this tourist, what he liked most, why. This is the one big main figure of this project. So we also want to integrate resources to attract tourism flows that generate economic activity. That is very important for the region. As I said before, we have a problem of desertification and of people in the region. So we need to attract tourists to generate economic development of the region, and to have accessible routes to tourists with special needs, such as audio guides, video with sign language. We need to make this project and the Alentejo Film Nature project available to all, and to be the more friendly and inclusive possible. This is the main partners of this project. As we can see, we have a lot, such as the 15 municipalities that integrate CIMA. It is, in this case, it was very good accepted by all the municipalities, this project. Their support was fundamental, such as the routes are development on their territories, so they were fundamental. They choose the routes, they give their feedback about the best places to go, so they were a key element of the development of this project. But we have another partner, such as the managing authority of the region, the tourism, and the national conservation institute of the Nature Institute that is national also, and their presence and their support is also very necessary, such as we have development this project in the protective areas. So it's fundamental to have their feedback and to have their support. In terms of resources that we need to implement this project, the investment is around 1 million euros. It was financing through national and regional programs, and also this project integrates a regional strategy named In Motion. So it was have the financing to development and have this project integrated in the strategy is fundamental to the development of it. Also, we need human resources to development this and external expertise, namely in what regards maintenance of the routes and the activities and the events present, the communication. We have several presentations in several events, namely in national and international events. So it is necessary to have a very good resources to develop this kind of projects. In terms of the main challenge to implement this project, first we have to create a project that will allow the creation of conditions for the opening of an inland region to let's explore touristic aspect. This is the main first challenge that this project presents us to show a project that and to convince and the other entities that we have a winning project. So another challenge is to have the support of the public institutions. These two challenges are related, and it was the first challenge, and it was overcome when we have the support of the 15 municipalities of the region. And then another main challenge is to find the necessary lines of financing. This is something that we are all looking for, and it's one of the main challenges due to the resources that are needed. In terms of the success of this case, we already have 41 routes duly signposted and with a total of 650 kilometers. And we can be travel with the total autonomy and security way and with the support of ICT tools. It's the objective it is to this project and can be totally visitors and tourists can have a total autonomy when they visit the region. So that's why ICT tools is very necessary to development of this project. And we already have been awarded in 2016 with the Natural Point PT Award. It is very important. Also, it was identified as one of the national anchor lines for the practice of walking by the Portuguese Tourist Authority. This is important. Our national authority in what regard tourism already identified this project as one of the anchors in what regards the walking practice. And we already have developed and created a Alentejo Feel Nature brand. So this is the main evidence of success of this case, and it shows the potential of the region to the sustainable tourism. And this is it. Thank you. If you have any question, I will have all the pleasure to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Dear Sophia, it's not having a question for you from the chat section, but we have one question for you about ICTs. We notice that ICTs is very strongly concerned in your projects. Is this a benefit for the sector in the view of the current situation with COVID-19 and the travel restrictions?
Yes, ICT tools are one of the main figure of this project that we are development, and it's ongoing. In terms of our current situation, and considering that we have some major restrictions in what regards the going from a place to another. I think that the ICT tools are fundamental to overcome it, because, as I said, we need to make the visitors the more independently and autonomous as possible. So a tourist can choose the time when he's going to be walking in a specific route. He can we can with the ICT tools. And it's something that we are thinking about it to see if a specific route with the sensors have a large number of visitors in that specific time. It's something that we can try to implement and to check if it's possible, and with the sensors to have some information about the visitors on the route, so that another visitor can see there are so many people in there, I need to choose another route. So I think the ICT tools and some innovative tools in what related to tourism are fundamental, so that we can start thinking in another way and have some solutions to overcome this situation that we are now facing.
Thank you, Sofia.
You're welcome.
Next is the presentation of the Slovenian partner, the Savia Regional Development Agency, and Mr. Martin Zhikov. We will present. Martin, do you hear me?
See me also and hear me?
Problems. Okay. Hi.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
This is my colleague Patricia. We also
Hi.
give the So, can I start? Okay. Hello, everyone. Also from the Zasavia Development Agency. First of all, I would like to express all the congrats to our Bulgarian partners that they succeeded to organize this webinar. And now I would like to give some information about the Zasavia region for those of you who don't know it already. The Zasavia region lies in the heart of Slovenia. It's beside the middle course of the largest river flow in Slovenia, the river Sava, and it has quite a strong mining character. The mines in our region were already closed in 2015, but we have still a very strong mining character. Therefore, we are also very active in the core regions in transition platform. This is the platform of the European Commission, which provides the assistance to the European core regions for the restructuring of its economy and also the society. Currently, we are also the receivers of the technical assistance of the European Commission that will provide us with the strategy how to use the just transition mechanism funds that will be available in the next financial perspective. Our regional development agency was established by the three regional municipalities, Hrastnik, Trbole, and Zagorje ob Savi. And its main purpose is actually to promote regional development. We are really active in the preservation of the cultural and natural heritage in our region, especially since the launch of the RAMSAT project. Our first task or activity, if I can say so, was took place in the second semester. We established a really good relationship with the municipality of Hrastnik, which became very active in the preservation of the mining heritage on its territory, especially under the leadership of the new mayor. And the municipality of Hrastnik actually is collaborating with the neighboring municipality Laško, which also has a mining history, but the coal phase out was made around 50 years ago, and they are very active or very strong in the tourism field, especially in the thermal spa industry. And both municipalities actually joined forces and established the miners hiking trail that connects both municipalities. We, as a regional development agency, assisted those two municipalities in establishing this miners trail. We assisted them in shaping the information boards that were placed along the hiking trail and presents the mining cultural heritage on some special spots. We also bought some advertisement space on those information boards. For that reason, also the logos of the RAMSAT and the European Development Funds, regional development funds, are printed on those information boards. We also took part on the opening of this miners hiking trail that took place around 2 days ago, which we used also for the promotion of our RAMSAT project. The newsletter was published about our RAMSAT project, and there were around 2 articles in the local newspaper about this hiking trail and our support through the RAMSAT project, and also 1 radio article was streamlined on the national radio. So it was very well promoted. I mean, our project in this miners hiking trail, which connects the two municipalities, Hrastnik and Laško. And now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Patricia, who will also present the future activities on our project. So please, Patricia.
Thank you, Martin. Greetings also from my side, and congratulations on establishing this webinar, Bulgarian partners. So what I would like to present is another state-of-the-art example of cultural tourism that was actually about to happen now in the beginning of July. And it's kind of a merge of industrial and cultural tourism, and that is the Labor Film Festival that we named Kamerat. The first idea was to include the selection of films by local and global artists, And the screening of the films would be staged at very unique venues, that is the Mine Tunnel and the Steklana Krasnik Glass Factory. So that's how we would kind of be integrating some of the industrial heritage into this cultural event. The locations would actually be the trademarks or the selling points of the whole event. And through the film, the festival would explore the position of workers in different stages of history, and as well as the future of labor and working class, which have a very long history in our region of Zasauia, since the town and the towns and the citizens developed and grew on the foundation of miners and glass factory workers. Unfortunately, this year this festival had to be postponed, but we hope that it will be organized next year even bigger and better. Now I will tell you something about why we participate in this project and what are our expected outcomes. The main reason of participation in this project is to bring forth the necessity of remembering and preserving our cultural, in our case mostly industrial and natural heritage, which are plentiful in our region, as we already established. So a positive outcome of the project and its activities as well is connecting the stakeholders, municipalities, companies and associations together to work for a common goal and to take interest in revitalizing our almost forgotten heritage. The positive outcomes that we expect out of this project are an increased number of visitors in our region and inclusion of heritage-related projects in our regional development program. And in this strategic development document, we would also like to include more touristic projects, thus enabling tourism to be more recognized by the local community and the awareness to be raised about the protection of cultural and natural heritage. One of the expected outcomes is also recognizing and linking together common interests of the local community and our regional agents. What we see as potentials of sustainable alternative tourism, the potentials in our opinion lie in cultural adventure and rural tourism. The extensive natural heritage offers many opportunities for trekking pathways and hiking trails, as well as the mountain bike trails. A good practice has been initiated by establishing this miners' trail that Martin mentioned, which goes through the 4 municipalities, and we are basically connecting all 3 mentioned types of tourism. On the presentation, you can see some of the future projects that we plan to establish in this direction. What we strongly believe in is the potential of industrial heritage for tourism purposes. An example of that could be the before described Labor Film Festival and its very unique venues. And another big step in the right direction has been taken by acquiring some of the former mining premises into the hands of local community in the town of Krasnik with the intention to revitalize it as a tourism potential. A big challenge in establishing alternative tourism in this region is making people aware of the tourism potential, since we have a very long history of industrialization. That would be all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Martin. Dear Martin, we have a question for you. According to the slide dedicated to the presentation of development of sustainable alternative tourism, should we understand that the cultural tourism is mainly related to industrial heritage in your country?
Yes, since mainly yes, because we believe that in tourism we have to work with what already exists in the region and try to promote it. And we've had
not only decades but centuries of industrialization in these regions. So we think that also tourism should be strongly connected to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next partner is the Provincial Government of Teruel, and Mrs. Laura Gascon. And she will present what is the current state of the alternative tourism in Spain. Dear Laura, do you hear me? Laura? Laura, do you hear me? Do you hear me, Laura? We have technical problems, so I give the word to the next partner. This is Mr. Philip O'Kane from a rural area, from Partnership in Dairy. He will talk about the alternative tourism is developing in Northern Ireland. Do you hear me, Philip? Philip, do you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I hear you.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Philip O'Kane, and I am the manager of Rapid. We're a rural development company based in the northwest of Northern Ireland. So as you can see from the map, our regional council or municipality is located on the border with the Republic of Ireland. The population is approximately 120,000 people, but only 32% of these people actually live in the rural area, with the majority living in the urban area. Rapid are the rural support network for the council area, and we're funded through the local municipality and also through the regional government Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. Now, traditionally in Northern Ireland, most government investment has been in the east of Northern Ireland, around Belfast and the larger centres of population. So over the years, the Derry City and Strabane District Council area has benefited greatly from European Union funding. Rapid would have delivered a lot of leader programmes and also been involved in the Interreg 3, Interreg 4A and Interreg 5A, B and C programmes. So with the potential loss of European funding following Brexit, it would be a major concern for their area. And in fact, at the referendum on Brexit, 78% of the population of our region voted to remain in the EU. So the area we're concentrating on is the Sperrin Mountains, which are the largest and least explored mountain range in Northern Ireland. It's a largely mountainous area of over 1,100 square kilometres. The Sperrin provides an attractive destination for a wide range of outdoor activities, and the open mountain landscape of the Sperrins is very sensitive to change. So there's a lot of threats at the moment, particularly from potential mining and also industrial development. Wind farms, wind energy. The west of Northern Ireland produces 80% of the renewable energy in Northern Ireland through wind energy. So a lot of these wind farms are going up in the Sperrins, which while we welcome the green energy, we also have to do it in a sustainable way that's works with the local community and the local people. Now, the majority of agricultural land in the Sperrins is designated by the EU as area of natural constraint, and that it's an area that's more difficult to farm due to natural conditions of the landscape. So in terms of ecotourism, as I said previously, the Sperrin Mountains is an area of outstanding natural beauty. It was designated by the UK government in 2008 and contains many areas of special scientific interest and special areas of conservation. So therefore, we're keen that any tourism development should be sustainable in terms of the impact on the environment, the impact on the visitor experience, and the long-term management and maintenance. Now, one of the key problems or challenges at the minute in the Sperrins is the lack of clarity around land ownership and formal permission. There's also gaps in accommodation provision and We need more increased interpretation experiences in the mountains. And as I mentioned previously, there's threats from gold mining and industrial development. I suppose the most significant issue in the Sperrins that's curtailing future development is the absence of a management plan for the area of outstanding natural beauty. It's the only A1B in Northern Ireland with no current management plan. So that's something we hope to develop as part of the RAMSAT project. And also there's limited car parking provision, lack of paths and directional signage and interpretive signage. So there's a lot of challenges in terms of ecotourism. As regards adventure tourism, there's a lot of opportunities at the moment in the Sperrins for hiking, outdoor pursuits, tree trekking, canoeing, cycling, pony trekking and angling. So we have a good mix of activities which represents a strong product. The tourism sector in our area needs more investment in infrastructure and support from policymakers to focus on adventure tourism to complement other ongoing tourism marketing initiatives. Now, traditionally, the Sperrins has suffered from being located next to Donegal in the Republic of Ireland, which is a more popular tourism destination, particularly for hiking and other adventure tourism. And as I said previously, the majority of marketing and investment in tourism in Northern Ireland has traditionally been to the Causeway Coast on the north, or the Mourne Mountains, or Belfast City in the east. So it's trying to get more buy-in from marketing strategies and from government departments. Again, cultural tourism, as you can see from some of the slides or the photographs, the area is rich in historic and archaeological heritage. We have sites from the Neolithic through the Bronze Age, early medieval sites and ecclesiastical sites. So it's quite an important area in terms of cultural identity and heritage. But it's, as I've said in the slide, it's probably undervalued at the minute. We do have a lack of directional signage and a lack of interpretive signage for tourism. And again, the majority of the land in the Sperrins is privately owned, particularly in uplands. This access again could be an issue because a lot of these historic sites are on private farmland. In terms of rural tourism, I think Sophia mentioned this earlier. Experience tourism is something that we're very keen to develop. They allow tourists to participate in activities, lifestyles, traditions of the Sperrins, particularly relating to the experience and connections with local communities, people, stories, food, drink, and heritage. There's example potential to get involved in local farm work. The food tourism, significant economic sector in Northern Ireland that we should explore. In regards to this, I mean foraging for food in the Sperrins, baking bread in the traditional way in a farmhouse kitchen, seeing how artisan cheese is produced, or being involved in traditional fishing are all experiences potentially that we could offer to the tourist. I think as well that the new era of COVID-19 may provide opportunities for rural tourism and bolster our domestic market with less domestic tourists going to the urban areas and probably gearing towards the more rural locations. So it's something that we could tap into in the short term. So our objectives in terms of being involved in the RAMSAT project is we hope through the transnational knowledge sharing, we can work with our key stakeholders to balance environment, economic and socio-cultural aspects by developing the action plan to protect the biodiversity and preserve the natural environment of the Sperrins while increasing sustainable tourism activity in the area. So this will enable local communities and statutory agencies to highlight the contribution and assets they can bring to implementing solutions to issues of sustainable development. Traditionally, there hasn't really been enough connections between local communities and statutory agencies in terms of developing a tourism product in the Sperrins, which is why many initiatives haven't worked in the past. So we feel RAMSAT gives a great opportunity to make those connections between various community networks and government agencies and tourism providers. So the RAMSAT action plan for alternative tourism development, again, based on best practice examples from our own region, but also from the other partner regions, and again, a more joined up approach to addressing issues of equality, disadvantage and exclusion would make for like a more substantial public sector investment in tourism development. In regards to potential developments for sustainable alternative tourism, again, through RAMSAT, we hope to build strategic partnerships with both the public and the private sector for rural tourism growth, create tourism hubs in partnership with the local community, involving local people in decisions that affect their lives to ensure a warm tourist welcome is always offered. We think it's very, very important to include the local community in any development. Again, this hasn't always happened in the past, and it's been one of the reasons why tourism development in the Sperrins hasn't always been so successful, particularly with the amount of privately owned land in our area. We also want to create compelling heritage experiences in rural areas that will appeal to target markets and are distinctive. So again, new approaches to animating and interpreting heritage. As I say, we have a lot of important cultural and heritage sites, but access to them and particularly good quality interpretive materials is absent. We'll also encourage the development of outdoor activities using all our natural resources. And the final one is important. We're working with local councils and local government departments to provide seed funding to tourism providers to carry out research into community insight and market intelligence and test new products in the marketplace, develop new products and provide technical assistance in order to help tourism create new products and test them in the marketplace. So that's really my finished. It's just a quick run through on that. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Philip. Dear Philip, we have a question for you related to the ecotourism. If we understand correctly, it may be turned in a problem when we cross in this area of Sperring Mountains, because we may be intruders of the private property. This is right?
Yeah. We have an issue. I suppose the majority of land in the Sperrins is in private ownership. There's no national parks in Northern Ireland, and there's no right to roam hiking legislation as there is in similar parts of the United Kingdom. In England and Wales, for instance, there's legislation called the Countryside and Rights of Way Act, which enables free access over commonage land. That doesn't actually exist in Northern Ireland, so access here is negotiated by the local municipality, by the local council. And the problem we have there is that there's always sometimes a breakdown in communication between landowners, local statutory agencies and policymakers wish to do. So through RAMSAT, again, we feel a community development approach to this could address this issue. So working closely with local communities and landowners, we would develop access to the Sperrins to work on mutually beneficial projects that the local people have bought into and support. So that is one of the key challenges, but it's something that we hope, I think, again, through RAMSAT and through using examples from other areas that we possibly could address.
Thank you, Philip, for your answer. You have a question from the chat from Barbara.
Yeah.
Philip, what do you think is the way to take sustainable tourism from Delhi and the giant causes of the Sperring Mountains?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's something we've been trying to work on for a long time, because the problem with tourism in Northern Ireland is a lot of the tourists come from Republic of Ireland. They come into Ireland to Dublin. They go to Belfast, and then they go to the north coast to Giant's Causeway, and then back to Belfast or back to Dublin. Alternatively, up the west coast, the Wild Atlantic Way is a very good tourism product that has been developed in the Republic of Ireland, which goes up the west coast, the Atlantic seaboard of Ireland to County Donegal. Now, there is some tourists would then go to Derry City from Donegal. So what we're hoping to do is make the Sperrins a connection between tourism that are using the Wild Atlantic Way, visit Donegal, visit Derry, and then the Sperrins, and then go to the Causeway Coast or the Giant's Causeway that way, as opposed to coming via Belfast. So we're working with Fáilte Ireland, who are the tourism provider in the Republic of Ireland, to see if we can make those connections and put a marketing campaign in place to try and get visitors to the Sperrins to come via the Wild Atlantic Way. But it's a difficult, it's a challenging.
Thank you again, Philip. Next, we want to try again with Laura Gascon from Spain. Dear Laura, do you hear me? Miss Laura Gascon, do you hear me? Okay, next is Carmen Gudu from the Regional Development Agency from Romania. She will present how alternative tourism. Oh.
We are all together now.
Hi, Carmen. Do you wait for a minute for Laura to talk?
It's not a problem.
Okay, Laura, let's start with you, and
Okay.
now we'll come back to Carmen.
Okay, I will make the presentation. This is not the last version of my presentation. I changed the first slide with the name of State of Art. And but any case, I will show you the rest of the information. I came from Spain. This is my location. I live in Teruel, in the province, in the capital city. Here you have some figures about our situation of our mountains. We live in the Aragonese region, and we have a part of the Pyrenees with the border with France. And Teruel is at the south. In any case, we belong to the central mountains system in Spain, and our density of population in average is 9 inhabitants per square kilometer. In terms of ecotourism in Teruel, we have a big quantity of these spots because every part of our province is really natural. We have a lot of mountains, lakes, rivers, and we include here some blocks in tourism. Here we have a lake that is in the network of Natura 2000. We have here rocks, a geological park in the European network, a natural park. We have mycological routes, a salty is a lake, plenty of salt, and we have even a slow driving road in the Maestrazgo. In terms of adventure tourism, our mainly sports are hiking. Teruel has multiple possibilities of long run routes and greenway. That was all the train ways. Small market routes all along the counties. Many villages show the opportunity to visit the round part. We have a cycle tourism route, and some parts are prepared for the teams to make the route and clean the bikes, to have a place to clean everything, to rest, to sleep without worrying about to be in a stall and so on. We have active tourism, but this is organized by enterprise. It's not something as public as the routes. And we have like rafting, kayaking, canoeing, climbing, but most of them you have to hire somebody. And we have the longest zip lining for handicapped people in Fuentespalda. But I wanted to show you the video, but it was very low quality, and it's better you come here, you can try. We have a lot of cultural tourism. It's plenty of culture in terms of tangible and intangible. We have the cultural parks. We have a network of beautiful villages, and we have some UNESCO heritage like Mudéjar style, that is a style only possible to see in Spain. It's a mix of Muslim art in Christian buildings, and we have the wall painted in the prehistorical period, and we have the intangible heritage in ritual drums, Mediterranean diet, the art of building with dry stone, and the Trashman that now is going to be held it as intangible heritage by UNESCO. In the rural tourism, everything is rural in Teruel, because in terms of European standard, it's supposed that the places with less than 50,000 inhabitants is rural. So everything here is rural. The capital city is just 35,000 inhabitants. So the rural tourism is quite developed. It's like something that some people in the villages take advantage for completing a little bit the budget of the family. And we have a network of Aragonese rural tourism, and the province of Teruel is especially focused on the experience tourism. So I show you some possibilities in terms of gastronomic, because the truffle, the black truffle, you can hire somebody, and this person show you how to pick up the mushroom, and how to make wine, to taste wine, to see the big vineyard. The same with the cheese, the saffron, the olive oil. So in terms of rural tourism, we have many examples. So it's quite developed. Why we participate in RAMSAT project? Because of our sparse and seasonal population, we have a very low quantity of people living in the villages, but during the summertime, this increased for 3, so it's quite different. And in terms of aging population, we have a lot of people above 65 years old. And we came to RAMSAT because we belong to the Euro-Montana board, that is the network of the mountain regions in Europe. Our entity has impulsed a protocol of sustainable tourism since 2018, and the president of the provincial government went to the United Nations event in Buenos Aires in 2018, because our experience was awarded with a mention in this event, because our way of developing the tourism is sustainable, and is very inclusive and able for the people to have experience, and we can share a good number of good practices, and we want to influence at political level. In terms that in Teruel, we started in 2018 with the sustainable tourism, and now the Aragonese region, that is a bigger entity that hug us, they are behind us. Now this year, 2020, they start with this strategy. And in terms of potential of sustainable alternative tourism in our region, the COVID-19, even that is what very complicated period, now they have a good number of booking, and the provincial government implemented some strategies and like a bonus, a training, a common image, a virtual fair. So we are quite optimistic in these terms. On the other side of the coin, we have the problem of the local people that is a little bit worried about mixing with other people from other parts of Spain. Most of them, because our international tourism is quite small. We have people from France, maybe, but and people from the UK in some part of the province, but it's not a big quantity. We have a limit of housing, a limit in staff in terms of very low population, and a limit in economical diversification. So we have two parts, 50-50. So let's see what happens this summer and afterwards, because the situation of the pandemic has not finished, I think so. And that's all. I don't know if somebody has some questions, or we will wait at the end of the meeting. But in any case, thank you very much. I don't know if I spent too much time. I don't know.
Thank you, Laura. We have a question for you. What is the cultural tourism block? Is it promoted by the travel agencies and tour operators?
The province in as a whole, we work with tour operators, and we make strategies at a national level in the fair of tourism, or in the television. Even this week or the week before, one of the Matarranya County appeared in the television at national level as the Toscana of Spain. So we work at national level in the media, and on the other side we work with the tour operators and travel agencies to let them know our sustainable strategy.
Thank you again, Laura. Next is Mrs. Carmen Goodieu. And Carmen, thank you for waiting.
Hello, do you hear me?
Hi.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Thank you for organizing this event. I try to find a proper place. And thank you all for participants for all your patience, and thank you speakers for the interesting presentations. So I'm Carmen Ghidiu, and I will make the presentation on behalf of Partner 6 and Partner 7 from Romania. I'm from the municipality of Rășinar, which is a local public authority, a mountain village with more than 5,000 inhabitants. The authority is responsible for rural development of the area, but also an important pillar for sustainable sustainable tourism development in Sibiu County. And together with the Regional Development Agency, we are partners in the RAMSAT project. The Regional Development Agency is a public body, and it's the entity responsible for implementing regional development policies in the central part of Romania. It spreads over six counties in the central part of Romania, and recently they developed the regional development plan, where tourism is a key sector. Just a short intro about the policy instrument addressed by us. It's part of the regional operational program, Axis 7, the diversification of local economy through the development of sustainable tourism. Why we chose to address this instrument is because there are high natural and cultural destinations destinations that we say that are out of the beaten track, which are not addressed by this instrument. However, this is subject to change because of the next phase for funding. Now a few words about the area covered by the project. So the area, it's called Mărginimea Sibiului. It spreads over 18 villages with more than 40,000 inhabitants, with an area of about 140,000 hectares. And this area shares a unique ethnographic history that comes from the occupations of the inhabitants, which is sheep breeding. For these reasons, we have also big variety of local products that come out of sheep milk, like sheep cheese, or also products out of milk. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just went to the last slide by mistake. Just to give you a quick overview, so we are in the center of Romania at the foot of the Carpathian Mountains in the county of Sibiu. Oh, sorry, I did this again. And this is a zoom in the area. So you can see here the 18 villages from Mărginimea Sibiului, and the big majority of the area is also included in the Natura 2000 area. So for this reason, we have a high density of natural habitats. We have here in the largest surface of spruce forest in Romania, and this forest offers optimal conditions for large carnivores like brown bears, wolves, or lynx. And we have also a range of habitats of European importance, such as Habitat 4070, named bushes with Pinus mugo and Rhododendron mintrifolio. This is a technical detail, but I wanted to let you know about the importance of the habitats in our region. Now, going back to the state of art of ecotourism, together with our stakeholder working group, we have identified strong points and weak points, as well as opportunities and threats of Mărginimea Sibiului regarding ecotourism. Just to point out a few strong points regarding ecotourism. As I said before, 55% of the area is part of Natura 2000 network. The area is also aiming, together with 11 other regions in Romania, to become an ecotourism destination, a certified ecotourism destination. And the area is also part of the European Destination of Excellence in Tourism. Regarding weak points, there is insufficient development of hiking and cycling routes. Also, there's a lack of common visual identity of Mărginimea Sibiului, because as I mentioned before, there are 18 villages, and we miss a common logo and the brand and a visual, proper visual identity. And there is a low connection between local producers and visitor tourists and guest houses or accommodation owners. We have identified also a range of opportunities, such as possibility of mountain product certifications, or for example, next year in 2021, the county of Sibiu, the whole county, was declared the year 2021 as the hiking year in Sibiu, which is an opportunity for us to use. And with regards to threats, We have a lack in our national legislation regarding hiking and cycling marking signs in hills area. We have legislation only for mountain peaks, but not for other regions. And of course, it's also a lack of financial instruments to address ecotourism in a proper way. With regards now to cultural tourism and rural tourism, this topic is being addressed by the Regional Development Plan. And we believe that in Marginimea Sibiului, those kind of tourism can easily emerge with ecotourism. I mean, it's not, for us, it's not black and white cultural rural. It's a mixed. Regarding adventure tourism, it's also addressed this topic in the Regional Development Plan. It's also part of the landscape in Marginimea Sibiului. However, this is not a strong point because we have a major problem with hard enduro sports, with the sports with motorbikes that are destroying the landscape in the natural protected areas. There has somehow legislations to stop, but to stop this phenomenon, but as weak point, there's a lack of common approach to address this problem. And now regarding our expectations, we would like to increase, of course, our knowledge regarding sustainable tourism and learn from you and from all the partners. And of course, we would like also to share our experience regarding the activities that we do here and learn about best practices from your regions and be part of a network with people that share the same interest. Be part of an expert network if you wish. Regarding the potential for tourism development in Marginimea Sibiului, as I said, the ingredients for tourist development, we have now in place the stakeholder working group, which is a strong point. People meet and work on a regular basis. We have meetings and we also work via email. We have the initial SWOT analysis where we mapped strong and weak points and opportunities and threats. We have submitted our first draft to the lead partner. And we also identified a range of good practices regarding ecotourism, such as local gastronomy events, festivals, culinary demonstration combined with walking and cycling activities, or more recently there are sports activities, but eco-friendly sports activities like a mountain marathon being organized. This year was supposed to be the third edition, but because of the pandemic, unfortunately, we had to postpone. We have submitted to the lead partner an example of good practice. We received a feedback. Thank you, Sophia. We will come back to this and we will submit the good practice to the platform. This was my presentation regarding ecotourism Marginimea Sibiului. If you have any question, please don't hesitate.
Hi, Carmen. I have a question to you. First,
hello. I don't hear you very well. Do you hear me?
First of all, thank you for the very interesting presentation. And secondly, I would like to tell you that our team feels Romanian very closely, not only because Romania is our neighboring country, but because we have implemented a lot of projects working with the Romanian partners. We have been so many times in Romania, and we know that Romania is full of beautiful nature and is rich with historical and cultural landmarks. Recently, we have implemented a project with partners from the city of Craiova,
Okay.
and this project was related to the ecotourism. And during the implementation of the project, we noticed a huge interest on behalf of the stakeholders in the targeted area of combining tourism with the use of bioproducts and related services. And I would like to ask you how it is in your region.
So local products are part of the tourism development of the area. As I said before, at national level, this region is recognized as a region with good products, local products that come out of sheep milk and sheep meat. And this is the reason, actually, in 2019, Sibiu, the whole county, was declared as regional European region for gastronomy. So yes, local products have a big influence in developing ecotourism. However, still work needs to be done in addressing and putting at the same table local producers with consumers and tourists. This is the state of art of products, local products.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. And now, Carmen, Mrs. Laura Gascon put a mark in the chat. You can see if you want it. And now, the current state of the alternative tourism in Bulgaria will be presented by Mrs. Diana Miteva from the Euro Region Plevent Oat Association. Hi, Diana. Hi, hello, everyone. Thank you to all of you for the attention and for being and supporting us today in this webinar. My name is Diana Miteva, and I'm a project team member on behalf of Association Euro Region Pleven Oat from Bulgaria. We are project partner number 2 in the implementation of RAMSAT project. I'm going to present you the state of art of the alternative tourism in Bulgaria. Firstly, I want to tell you a few words only to present shortly our organization and the region where we come from. Euro Region Pleven Oat Association is a non-governmental organization which has been established in 2007. As the founders of the association were the mayors from municipalities from Pleven district in Bulgaria and the Old County in Romania. The association has implemented lots of projects financed under cross-border and transnational programs, and the main objective of these projects was to be supported the social economic development of the targeted area. Physically, our institution is situated in the city of Pleven, Bulgaria, but its main activities cover the area of northwestern Bulgaria and southwestern Romania. In Project RAMSAT, we choose to improve policy instrument which has a national coverage. So participating in this project, we will try to cover the entire territory of our country. Bulgaria is a small country in terms of territory. The entire area of our state is 111,000 square kilometers, and the population in Bulgaria is about 7 million persons. Of these 7 million persons, 3,200,000 people represent the working force in our country. We have a river border between us and Romania, and also we have a border on the east with the Black Sea. According to the last statistics from 2019, people who are employed in the fields of tourism make 56% of the state working force, and the tourism is one of the main sectors in our economic development, which makes from 12 to 13% from the gross domestic products. As I said already, Bulgaria is a small country in terms of territory, but we have all necessary conditions for the development of all types of tourism in our country. Bulgaria is a country where the thrill and the adventure are still alive. If you come and visit our country, you will have the opportunity to visit places where no footprint of the tourists has been so far. You can touch villages where the life still goes on with the space of several centuries ago. And you will feel Europe in the way it will never be again. Here, the taste and the food and the air come from another dimension. So, if you have opportunity, please don't miss the chance to miss our country. Although that Bulgaria is a small country and it is mostly associated with the sea tourism in the summer and the ski tourism in the mountain during the winter, we have all necessary conditions to the development of all types of the tourism. The development of the tourism is a strategic goal, one of the strategic goals, which has been included in the National Strategy for Tourism Development in Bulgaria for the period 2014-2030. And now let's have a brief look at the private forms of tourism in Bulgaria and mostly at the 4 pillars of our RAMSAT project. And firstly, I would like to start with the ecotourism, which is the most responsible way to travel. The ecotourism benefits the traveler, the ecotourism benefits the local population, and of course spares the nature. The opportunities for growth, cultivation, and efficient exploitation of all resources in Bulgaria for ecotourism is almost unexhaustive. Although that Bulgaria is small in terms of territory, we have here established network of 3 national parks, 11 natural parks, 89 reserves. Bulgaria is the first European country which in 1995 has developed and adopted its own national strategy for biodiversity conservation. Usually, the service providers in the fields of ecotourism are small enterprises. They are usually family businesses where are employed family members. Recently, these small enterprises make great effort to diversify the products that they offered by including specialized programs as horseback riding, crafts, nature observations, picnics, hikings, and cyclings. The main mechanism for financing the main mechanism for certification of the ecotourism products are The mechanism for providing quality is the certification. For example, the certificate Green Watch is being awarded to small hotels and guest houses, which meet all requirements of the European legislation for providing quality accommodation and minimizing the effect on the nature and maximum. So, the adventure tourism is specialized type of tourism which includes at least two of three key elements. This is physical activity, cultural exchange, and contact with the nature. The diversity of the relief of Bulgaria guarantees suitable conditions for developing of this type of tourism. We have suitable climate and suitable relief. There are lots of places for bungee jumping, rafting, kayaking, paragliding, rock climbing, caving, and diving. Mostly the adventure tourism is related with extreme experiences, but in fact 80% of the trips are so-called light tours, like trekking, cycling, culinary tours, wine tourism, and learning about the custom and participation in local activities. For 2015, Bulgaria was ranked as the third among the developing countries in this type of tourism. We have here association which deal with adventure tourism. They are Adventure Gusto, Adventure BG, and etc. Many others. Despite of the varieties opportunities for adventure tourism in Bulgaria, the virtue of map of tourist sites and landmarks, which has been developed by the official tourism portal of Bulgaria, doesn't show any destination for adventure tourism in Bulgaria. If you visit this portal, you will see only a few caves marked on it. A few words about the rural tourism. This is the fastest growing type of tourism in our country. In the last 4 or 5 years, this type of tourism has a sustainable growth of 15% per year. This is due to the plenty of natural, architectural, and historical landmarks, as well as the additionally offered services in the fields of active recreation. Rural tourism is the best way to know about the Bulgarian way of life, Bulgarian traditions, and our lifestyle. Tourists can visit cozy country houses and pretty small villages and enjoy their holidays surrounded by greenery, flowers, coolness, and fresh air. Each of the visitors can immerse into our local life, in the rural life, and try different specialities of traditional Bulgarian cuisine. Usually, tourists who visited the villages are welcomed in authentic houses, small houses, which have been built during 19th and 20th century, and part of the experience are the meals prepared by the host. The virtual map of tourist sites and landmarks. A guide doesn't show any destination for the developing of rural tourism. In Bulgaria, it's very hard for the travel agencies and operators to sell tourist packages to Bulgarian people because Bulgarian tourist usually organizes his trip by himself, and only foreigners are interested in tourism in the rural areas. Although the statistic, approximately 80% of the visitors of villages are Bulgarian, and recently we have a big increase in the guests from Romania, Russia, Germany, and France. As a country with 1,000-year history and huge cultural heritage from the ancient civilization, Bulgaria has lots to offer to its guests who are interested in the history, culture, ethnology, religion, architecture, and art. Interesting historical sites have been preserved even in the most remote and mountainous region. Some of them are very popular, some of them are on their way to reach their full potential. In the rural areas, there are lots of interesting museums worth to be visited, such as a Beans Museum in the village of Smiljan and Yogurt Museum in the village of Studeni Dvor. Bulgaria has also a rich folklore calendar, which includes many traditions and customs through which the tourists can get know Bulgarian way of life very well and can touch to our national traditions. In the country, there are many opportunities for exploring traditional economic activities in our lands, such as production of raw soil, wine, and etc. The virtual map of the tourist sites and landmarks in the official tourism portal shows mostly destinations where you can practice cultural tourism. And now, why do we participate in RAMSAT project? First of all, we want to increase our expertise and to learn from the other partners, and of course, to transfer our expertise in the project activities. We are looking for partnerships with public and private sector abroad. We want to exchange good practices, to learn them, to adapt them, to develop into projects, and of course, to implement that. These projects will be related to development of cultural tourism and alternative form of tourism, renovation of cultural monuments, and development of tourist products. The experience from the former operational program regional development shows that projects based on cultural objects of world and national importance are financially valuable and have a great potential for returning the investment. Project that we hope to develop in the future action plan of our region will be targeted to municipalities from fourth hierarchical level, on the territory of which there are monuments of national and world importance. In all of these projects will be included good practices that we will learn during the implementation of RAMSAT project. Regarding the potential for the development of alternative tourism, the remote and mountainous area in Bulgaria have a great potential for the development of sustainable tourism by preserving and exhibiting natural and cultural heritage and promoting continuity in relation to living heritage and traditions. Generally, the tourism is among the main priorities of national and regional policy in Bulgaria. From the tourism is expected a tangible contribution to achieve balanced and sustainable development of Bulgarian municipalities and region. The tourism development in the remote border and mountainous municipality with unique tourist resources should be linked to national and European tourist routes and with the developed tourist areas in order to gain the chance for adequate exposure and promotion of values in small municipalities. I can give you an example. Nearby Pleven, in the village of Gigen, there is an ancient Roman fortress. This is city. This is Upia Escus. This tourist site is of national importance, but so far it was not included in any tourist routes, and thus its full potential for the development of economic life of the region is not fully exploited. The geographical location of our country, the relief, the temperate climate, the unique cultural and historical heritage that we have in our country, the attention that is paid to tourism in the education. We have specialities in the university for ecotourism and alternative tourism. All this is a prerequisite for the increasingly successful development of Bulgaria in offering alternative tourist products. And now, as conclusion of my presentation, I would like to share with you the mission of Bulgaria Association for Alternative Tourism, which we think that should be accepted by all people who are involved in the fields of tourism. And this mission of Bulgarian Association for Alternative Tourism states that we strive for sustainable development and increasing the quality of the tourist product and infrastructure, and actively support any initiative in this field. We want to make Bulgaria a significant and intriguing destination for alternative tourism by paying special attention to its human resources and nature. We encourage the development of partnerships in order to make Bulgaria a better place to live and do business together. As final of my presentation, I would like to invite all attendees of this webinar to come in Bulgaria to visit in personally our beautiful nature, to practice any type of tourism you want, but to feel the thrill to be in Bulgaria. Thank you for attention to all of you.
Thank you, Diana. It's clear from the presentation that much has been done for development of alternative tourism in the partners regions, but it's also clear that here is still much to be done for its sustainability. If the event can happen physically, the group would have had to visit the canyon of the Chernelka River, but it's in order not to miss the beauty of this place and the real experience of the tourists who decided to visit it, you can now watch a short video from this eco trail and presented it like good or bad practices. The first is the short video from the bird eye view, and the second, here is the experience of the tourist himself, gardening in 15 minutes.
Hello again. Now I'll be your guide and will show you the beauty of canyon of river Chernelka. Now you have the opportunity to watch from the eye of the bird and to see the entire region of the canyon. If you were physically in Pleven and the webinar was a workshop, you would visit this place. But now, thanks to the technology, we will bring you directly to this place. The natural reserve of Chernelka is a beautiful karst region. It is situated in the central part of Danube Plain, about 12 kilometers from the city of Pleven. The canyon of river Chernelka is situated in the municipality of Pleven region. Now, just a few words. We decided there is no better way to feel the beauty of the nature than to bring you directly to the eco trail.
We starting from one of the starting point of the eco trail. This is the village of Gurtauvo. And the first thing that you can see when you enter the eco trail is this rock. This is the so-called splitted rock. There are a lot of legends about this rock, and I will share with you one of the most popular. It is related for the time when Bulgaria was under Ottoman slavery. Here on that place, there was a severe battle between our national hero, Krali Marko, and his enemy, Osman Kesagia. It was a really hard battle, and it lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, Osman Kesagia felt that he will be defeated and ran away from the battle. Krali Marko was really very angry of his escape, and in his anger, he hit the rock with his sword and split the rock into two parts. Now you can see the inside part between the two parts of the rocks. As I told you, the canyon of river of Chernelka is in the municipality of Pleven, district of Pleven. It has a length of 7 kilometers. The small river of Chernelka, somewhere in the past, form a beautiful karst canyon here on this place. There is width of 60 to 200 meters, and the height of the rock varies from 10 meters to 40 meters. In 1969, this area was declared as protected area. The entire territory of the canyon is about 300 hectares. The canyon of Chernelka is full of rare and protected species, species in terms of plants, birds, and animals. Most of them are included in the Red Book for Protected Species in Bulgaria. You can see here more than 200 species of birds, and the most popular among them is the rock swallows, and here there is a colony of rock swallows. Beside the richness of birds, plants, and animals, here is a plenty of rock formations. Here is the karst spring Baba Radica, Bublia, and Kapchuka. Here you can visit the caves Tsareva Dubka and Momina Dubka. The cave Tsareva Dubka, somewhere in the past during the Ottoman slavery, was used by our king Tsar Ivan Shishman as an observatory because this cave is situated on the top of a rock. And from this high point, he was watching the area and, of course, alerted if enemy is approaching. Here isn't a lot of history. You can see along the canyon antique and medieval fortress. This is the fortress Gradiste. You can see here the King's Cave. You can see here remains from Roman roads and remains from a Roman fortress. In 2001, in the canyon of river of Chernelka was built an eco trail. It was built within a project of municipality of Pleven, and the main purpose of this eco trail was to be increased the natural culture of the visitors, and of course to be enhanced the connection with the natural resources. The eco trail has two starting points. One is from the village of Gurtauvo, which is 16 kilometers away from the city of Pleven, and the other point where you can access the eco trail is the village of Cărtujabene, which is 20 kilometers away from the city of Pleven. Along the entire length of the eco trail have been built lots of bridges, lots of facilities for recreation and place to have a rest. There are lots of barbecues, a lot of gazebos, lots of tables and benches where you can sit and have a rest and enjoy the beautiful nature. The eco trail is maintained by the both of villages of Gurtalovo and Cărtujabene, but as you can see from the videos, on some places, mainly in the part of Gurtalovo, the facilities are a little bit neglected. Often, some of them are broken. But despite of this, the the feeling of the nature is very strong. In terms of transport, someone who wants to visit the eco trail may use the public transport. There is autobus from the city of Pleven at any half an hour. You can also reach the place by car and by cycling. There is no opportunity for accommodation along the eco trail. There was a hut Kapchuka, which in the past was used by the visitors, by the tourists, but now this hut become a private property and it is not available for tourists. We started from the village of Gurtalovo and now we are approaching the middle of the eco trail, which is closer to the village of Cărtujabene. Here, there are many rock formations, as I said minutes ago, and one of the most impressive rock formation is the Provrtenica. You will see this formation only in 1-2 minutes. There are a lot of legends about this rock formation, but the most popular of them is that somewhere in the past there were two rivaling tribes in this region. One of the tribe lives down on the river and the other tribe lived over the rock. The down tribe doesn't allow the upper tribe to get to the water. And because of this, the upper tribe make a hole in the rock, and this hole is about 15 meters long, and this way they reached the water. This is the hut of Kapchuka, the former hut of Kapchuka, now private property. It was very hard for us to find the bridges where we could cross the small river. Also, the markings and the signs were missing for the landmarks. But although we enjoyed the time and the nature. Thank you, Laura. There are almost 18 bridges over the river, so you can cross the river at 18 points. There is a football ground along the Eco Trail. There is lots of place to have a rest. Here, this is the remains of ancient Roman fortress. Now you can see the remains of the Roman roads. The stones, the roads were made by stone plates. And here the evidence for a bad practice. This is the colony of rock swallows. Here in this under this rock, but we didn't want to disturb the birds, and it was a really adventure to pass this bridge. As you can see, the facility was almost no in operation. And now, yes, but we didn't quit. We wanted to show you the formation of Provertinica because it's a rock formation that is worth to be seen. Yes, yes, the back. And here, this is the rock in which was made the whole Provertinica. We are very sorry that you didn't have the opportunity to come physically and visit this place. But only get to know what it looks like. And now you will see this rock formation. The river is pouring under the rock. There is a spring here. The water from this spring is not suitable for drinking. It is not fresh water. And here is the hole, which is 15 meters long. Today it seems impossible to make without any facilities such a hole in so big rock. But it originates from 100,000 years ago. We know only legends of its origin. This is the power of the nature to make forms, shapes, and to create miracles.
Thank you, Diana, for amazing trip.
Thank you.
Like I said, this place is amazing. This is the right word. Now back to business. The project funded by the
Interreg Europe programs cannot be implemented without the active participation of the stakeholders. With their help, good practices are identified, the measures of the action plans are determined, these measures are implemented. Now comes to turn back to Mrs. Elsa Nunes. She will show us how and why to attract and engage the stakeholders. Dear Elsa, do you hear me? Dear Elsa, do you hear me? And now back again, we have a technical difficulty. So I continue. During the implementation. Oh,
here I am. I'm having trouble with my computer, so I'm going to switch to Sophia. So first of all, I must say that I'm so sorry I was not there. And I'm so sorry that the meeting is not really in the place because you show us so wonderful landscapes. And for now, I think that everyone will be just like me, feeling so sorry that we didn't make it to there. But hopefully we'll have that possibility anytime soon. And first of all, I thought there was a Q&A session, but I think that somehow we'll have the time to do it anyway. And so what I will try to do right now is to just give a kind of a kick in what regards the including of the community in the development of the future action plans. So I would start now. Oh, I am in the end, not that I wanted. Yeah, okay. So the engagement process in what regards building the action plans is something that for us, besides being the project leader, of course, we are project partners. And for us, it will be unthinkable to have an action plan without the involvement of the stakeholder group and overall the community. So what we think are the main steps to achieve this is, first of all, have the participation of the community in the identification of the main issues that are related to building this action plan. Then we have to build and structure and consolidate this diagnosis, once again, with the participation of everyone that is involved. This is, of course, a co-development process where everyone's participation means a lot. So it's one of the typical cases where the results are not only the sum of the different participations, and then keeping through all the process, through the designing of the action plan and through the implementation of that action plan, keeping everyone engaged. Well, and we might ask, what is the level of engagement that we intend to achieve? Main issues can be who is affected or can be affected by the development of the action plan. What are the roles and attributes of the different stakeholders? What are the relationships, between stakeholders and how they interact with each other? And how should stakeholders be engaged? And this is something that perhaps we should think about before starting this engagement process, as I was saying. Sorry. Sometimes graphics help us to situate in the topics. So we should consider information. How is information going to be shared among project partner and the group of stakeholder, how is information disseminated, and how this information can build stakeholder support. After that, how are stakeholders being consulted? How is the information that is coming from stakeholders being gathered? Of course, through all the process, there is the dialogue, the information exchange. This information exchange and this dialogue is ensured by the partnership. Now, in a broad sense, the partnership and the relationship that is established by the project partner and the community, securing that advice is coming and is circling in both ways, and that the contents that are shared are contents that can be disclosed. And the co-creation is something that is present through all the process. So it's something that is it is built throughout all the process. Methods and tools for engagement in what regards, once again, information, consultation, dialogue, and partnership. Well, it can include things like stakeholder training, project bulletins, and newsletters that can be disseminated through targeted audience. Also, all the information that comes from the project, such as project brochures and reports, mainly all the documents that are produced and that are relevant to the community. In what regards consultation, of course, all the means are valuable.
I'm sorry,
of course, we are here mentioning questionnaires.
No.
Surveys.
I'm sorry, Elsa, we can hear you.
Join that are webinars and online surveys and so on. What we want is to gather the most information possible, and we know that we must do it in a way that is also facilitating the process, because people don't have too much time to be writing very long documents or reading very long documents. So we should keep it simple, keep it interesting, keep it moving with pictures and so on. Just like the beautiful images we just saw and that were really very meaningful for us. And this was all. As I said, this was just an invitation for everyone's participation. As I was saying, in Art Altenative, we rely on our stakeholder group, and it would have been really not possible to build all the information gathering and reporting that we did until now without their participation. So how do we do it? We do it mainly keeping the communication through informal meetings. Now in these pandemic times, we do it, of course, online. But for us, it has been a process that began with trying to keep as much information available as possible since the beginning of the project, keeping everyone interested and keeping everyone on board. So this is how we believe we will succeed in drafting our action plan. And now what I would do is leave the ground to all the partners. so they can comment a little on what they have been doing and also on what they are intending to do in what regards the action plan. So I would start. I don't know if anyone wants to start right now. If no one wants this to kick off, I would suggest that our host, partner number 2, would say a few words on this topic. So I leave the ground to our host. Diana?
Yes.
Okay.
First that we did after starting our implementation in RAMSAT project was to identify our stakeholders. After that we form our stakeholders group, and we held our first stakeholders meeting. During this stakeholder meeting, we developed questionnaires. Through these questionnaires, we try to receive the feedback from our stakeholders. How is the situation with the alternative tourism through their eyes, because they are the people who work on the ground, who engage in the fields of tourism. We present all project activities which are included in RAMSAT project to our stakeholders. And our intention in the future during the conduction of all stakeholders meetings is to present to our stakeholders everything that we learned during the thematic seminars. And this way, we will bring to them directly the experience from all partner regions. After also, we will bring with us stakeholders to take part in the thematic seminars in the project, and they will gain first-hand knowledge, first-hand experience about the good practices that prove to be good practices in the respective partner region. We will follow the steps that we follow during the implementation of another project financed within Interreg Eura program. This is the project CDETA, where we are lead partners. And we did the following. During the stakeholders meeting, we presented all good practices that we found interesting during the respective thematic seminar, and we prepared questionnaires to the stakeholders. Through these questionnaires, we will try to find which good practice our stakeholders find more related to the situation in our region, and more related in terms of legal limitations, financial limitations, opportunities, and so on. After each of the stakeholders meeting, we made a decision which good practice was rated as most suitable for implementing in our region. And this way, we marked the main actions in our action plan. And we will follow the same steps during the implementation of RAMSAT project. we will keep unstoppable connection with the stakeholders. This is in order to keep them into project activities and to keep their interest to the topic of the project. And consultation, as you said, Elsa, information provided to the stakeholders during the stakeholders meeting, and providing opportunity to choose the best that stakeholders can implement in our region. Learn from the partners from RAMSAT project. And this is in general our idea to follow here on for the developing, for choosing the measures, the good practices that will turn into actions included in the future action plan of developed by Association Euro-Region Note for the region of Bulgaria. Because as I told during my presentation, our policy instrument that we choose to be improved through RAMSAT has a national coverage.
Such a comprehensive presentation on the involvement of stakeholders. So I would now switch to Martin and ask for his contributions on this topic. Martin?
Hi again. Well, with regard to the stakeholder group, we initiated it at the beginning of the launch of our project. It consists, first of all, of municipalities that present politically our region, and and the other stakeholders consist of associations that are active on the cultural and natural heritage field, and there are also some sport association which can be of help in preserving the cultural heritage in more adventurous way, if I can say so. The stakeholder groups are convened once every semester. On those meetings, the stakeholders are informed about the activities of our project, the developments, and they can also express their views on the issue that on the matter that is actually being focused on. Up to now, the activities, the involvement of the stakeholders is very good. We are actually encouraged to pursue activities in such a way also in the future. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Oh, I was just thanking, and I would like to ask now Laura to give her contribute on this topic. Laura?
Hello. About our engagement of the stakeholder, we have the advantage that the province have normally several meetings with the responsible of tourism in the counties. So we take advantage of this contact and we create another event with the people that they know each other because they have meeting with the province several times, and we did it at the end of January, at the end of the first semester. In this event, we involve people that is responsible on tourism, association of enterprise, and local action groups, and the cultural parts. That is one of our most interesting good practice. So they attend the event. We start the creation of the SWOT analysis, and they were really active. That's true. So with all this information, we hire a consultant that is working on tourism at a provincial level, and this consultant finished the process of creation of the first draft, the first version of the SWOT analysis. We want to give the feedback to the group and to keep on increasing the information and the documents, and update it a little bit, this first draft in another stakeholder meeting. And we were wondering, because with all this stop of the meetings during the pandemic, and we didn't have the SWOT until middle May, we were wondering into making a physical event in this month. But this is not a good idea, because many people is starting to have the holidays during July, and we are thinking into making the next meeting on September, maybe the possibility to make a face-to-face meeting, and to keep on having this group, a group that will be the same from the beginning until the end, and to allow them to influence at political level, thanks to the SWOT and the state of art, and to influence at political level in the region, that are the real entity that organize the tourism in the region. But in any case, we have the support of the tourism department, and we have another project from Interreg Europe, from the same call, that is about fortress and castles, how to use in a different way. And we make the meetings together, because the responsible on heritage are most of the time the same of the responsible of tourism. So they can influence for the same price into policies, because we will in the same meeting we work on both things. So the people was happy to be asked about the ideas that they have, the suggestions. But that's true that the presentation of Elsa give us some tips to keep them engaged, to keep them happy, and to keep them interested into participating in this meeting during 4 years. That is a long period of time. And by my side, more or less, that's all. We think into making the second stakeholder meeting on September, because with the pandemic, without having the result of the SWOT, and with the vacational period, September will be much better.
Yes, I have a problem. Either I have the video or the sound, so I will stick to the sound. Thank you so much, Laura. In fact, having this possibility of joining two thematics is interesting. And as you were saying, if you have two Interreg projects, it's really interesting to have the stakeholders just thinking about and debating about the topics. I would switch our partner from Rapid. Philippe?
Hi. Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you.
Well, to date here in Northern Ireland, we have been held initial meetings with our stakeholders, and the stakeholders would include local community organisations, statutory agencies dealing with agriculture, tourism, economy, environment and heritage. In Northern Ireland, there's a number of different government agencies with cross-cutting responsibilities, particularly in the Sperrins. We've also met with private sector tourism providers and also with a number of non-governmental organisations who would own some land in the Sperrins. For example, the likes of the Woodland Trust, which is a UK-wide charity. As a result of these meetings, we've completed our regional analysis and SWOT analysis, which has given us a baseline on current activities in the current situation, and has also identified a number of gaps which we want to concentrate on now as we develop the action plan. We've collated some best practice examples from our own region, but also from elsewhere within the United Kingdom and Ireland. And through the engagement with the partners here, we're also going to include some transnational best practice examples. So our next step now would be to use our next stakeholders meeting to begin to draft the action plan over the next number of months. And I think, as I said previously, community engagement we feel is key to drafting an effective and sustainable action plan, particularly around access to land in the Sperrins, and also to develop new experiences for tourism in the Sperrins, which will involve local landowners and local communities being involved in that process. So that's really where we're at the moment now. Thank you.
Our partners number 6 and 7 from Romania. I believe perhaps it would be Carmen making this presentation. Carmen?
Hello. So on behalf of partners 6 and 7, we have worked together with the stakeholder working group. We have about 16 people in this group from the local authorities. We have mayors and representatives of local NGOs, as well as representatives from small tourism operators. Together with this technical group, we have formed a questionnaire online in order to get an insight about ecotourism in the area, and this was an important instrument that helped us in drafting the SWOT analysis, as well as in finding good practices regarding ecotourism in Marginimea Sibiului. Now we have submitted to you the first draft of the SWOT analysis, as well as a good practice example. We will come back to the good practice because we got your feedback. We are working now again on the form. And recently we have launched the tender for acquisition of services, external services for expertise in sustainable development, because we would like to get the help of specialists in elaborating the action plan. And actually, after the tender, we have signed a contract with the Association of Ecotourism in Romania. So from now on, they will help us in drafting the action plan. If you have any questions.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you.
It was quite interesting to learn about the way the partners are being going through the process, and we could hear that many experiences are different, but even so, they were complementary, I believe, because we heard about all the processes and how we as a group are trying to achieve our objectives, and I would say until now quite successfully. So for now, what I think we could do is to open a period of a few minutes for Q&A. I don't know if anyone wants to ask anything besides the project partners, also people from the audience, because I can see now that we have 42 people online. So you are more than welcome to present any questions or comments. I would leave some minutes for this. I think we can use the chat. I don't know if we have also live questions, but anyhow, if we then don't have the possibility to do live questions, at least you have the chat and you can write your questions and direct the questions to people that were presenting. So for now, only the silence. Also in no typed questions. So if no questions arise, I would say that I don't know if the organization has something else to tell. Okay, I would leave it to you. Just before that, okay. Okay, I have a question now for me. How did you manage to attract people in the remote areas? Okay, I think that video you are talking about tourism. So I would say that in Alto Alentejo, the landscape is really different and very appealing. And the thing is that we have in Alto Alentejo the possibility to do types of activities that are not possible to do in other parts of the country. So it is, I wouldn't say easy, but I would say that people, groups of people that want to do specific types of activities or sports choose the Alto Alentejo region for that. Also, in addition, you have very, very good gastronomy. So all people like food, sustainable people, sportive people, everyone likes good food, and you can find good food in Alto Alentejo. Just to have something that is, that is related to this specific pandemia times that we are living now, I could say that in Alentejo, all the region, not only Alto Alentejo, but all Alentejo region, the NUT 2, the virus did not have a very wide expression. So people in Portugal mainly are choosing this area for their holidays, for their summer holidays.
Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to talk about the next event now, if you don't have any questions by the audience. We have a question. How do you plan to cope with the risk of the overdeveloping sustainable tourism in your partner region to avoid over-tourism practices by blending? But I don't know who you want to ask this question. Please write who you want to answer it. Sorry. Okay. The question is for everyone.
Okay, I can pick it up, and then anyone that wants to follow up. In Alto Alentejo, that is really a concern, mainly because many of the touristic sites are in Natura 2000 areas, and keeping it sustainable is really something that is a priority. So we always have to have a balance between the need to have tourists and the constraint of not having too many tourists. What I would say is that typically we don't have a landscape that is appropriate for mass tourism. So typically it is a balance that is not that difficult to keep. And one of the factors is also the number of beds that are there in the region. So if there are not the typical kind of hotel is not a big hotel or something like that. It's like rural lodging or very small country hotels. So it also helps to regulate the number of people that you have in the region. I don't know if anyone else wants to complete my answer or to say something else.
Yes, I want to include some extra information. We have some problems in Teruel because we have one of the most known beautiful villages in Spain. Even the king and the queen went into the honeymoon into this village, so it was even more known when this happened. So this village especially have some problems with the number of people that arrive during long weekends and things like that. But with this pandemic situation, with all the social distance, the number of people that can go to the swimming pool and things like that, I think that all this problem of overdeveloping, as Blandine said, could be controlled. For example, in some natural park that we have, they are using a door in a place, in a very narrow place, as we saw on the video, because they want to control how many people go inside, in order to not have too much people crossing each other and have the possibility to be in contact or to be suffering the illness or spreading out the illness in a very small place with at low density of population with very high level of age, because our villages are plenty of retired people. That is the target group that suffer the most this pandemic situation. So the pandemic has been very damages, but could be a good opportunity to implement some kind of control. Even the people is booking for going to the swimming pool, for having a parking slot, for having a room, and in some places they are controlling by the phone how many people is in some places. But in remote areas with very limited of internet connection, it's very difficult to implement this kind of things. That's all. I don't know if somebody want to express their interest.
Now I'll ask any of the other partners to want to answer the question too. If not, can I reserve with the next event of the program? The next event will be organized under the project will be thematic seminar using the nature heritage to ecotourism. Host and organizer are the partners from Romania. Whatever is happen offline or online depends on situation with COVID-19. And we will keep you posted. Until then, meetings of local stakeholders are forthcoming, like every partner say. Expect information for the partners by country, when and how they will happen. If there are more questions for the partners or us, I don't think there is any more question. So thank you for. Oh,
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I would just like to also to thank everyone for being around all this time. I know that by now we are all we have lots of meetings and webinars online, so it's a double effort. But nevertheless, thank you for being here. And as it was already been said, more is to come, and we will keep you all posted. Thank you so much.
thank you. And like I said, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time and attention. We wish you a pleasant day, a success in work, and new meetings offline and online. Thank you. Goodbye.